So today I want to give you guys reason number 26 why I want to have my very own compound with a microgrid. So not to fear monger, but does anybody know what the Carrington event is? So in the beginning of September of 1859, there was this massive solar flare. And I mean absolutely insane. It took down every grid that was active at the time on the planet, which mind you was really just telegraphs and stuff, but still, all down. And it was so massive, you could see Aurora Borealis in the Caribbean, okay? So a whole lot of electromagnetic charge coming from the sun at that point. Now, what we found is that there's something called a solar cycle, meaning that the poles of the sun, the north and south pole, every 11 years switch places, okay? So the North Pole would become the South Pole becomes the North Pole, and that happens every 11 years. Now, the Carrington event came around because when the poles switched, it was uber violent, like super violent, and like blah, 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 that time, right? It causes just massive electromagnetic flare. I say that because that 11-year cycle is still ongoing. Now, let's talk a little bit about infrastructure. Does anybody understand how outdated the American electric infrastructure actually is? Like, I know it's something that keeps getting brought up in the winter time when people are like, oh, there's no power. You know what I mean? And we have all realized that, like, Texas has its own power grid and blah, 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 because they screwed that up. But my point is that our infrastructure is so outdated, and it has been Frankenstein's to the point that we almost can't update it, if that makes any sense. So we are looking at a potential to lose the entire grid in the US all at once. How is nobody else freaking out about this? Also, this solar cycle, the specific one that's supposed to be every 11 years, is now 2 years behind schedule, which is part of what they think caused the Carrington event. Was basically that the poles didn't flip when they should have, and so it basically like built up a ton of energy so that when they actually did flip, it was uber violent, uber fast, and a lot of discharge. And weirdly, that's kind of what we're looking at right now. So why do I want to compound with a microgrid? I mean, really, the question is why don't all of us?